We all have health aspirations, and no doubt, given that you're watching this video right now, your aspirations for living a life of crazy good health are for real. But how do we overcome distractions? Time restraints, family, friends pulling us this way, that way, cravings for sugar when we're trying to make this awesome food decision today. How do we overcome that? There's one way I would suggest, and that is to have guardrails in our life. So there are two ways we can think of creating guardrails. One would be guardrails keep me from experiencing adventure and freedom. And if there's guardrails up, then it's gonna be really weighty, and I'll feel like I can't just do what I wanna do, which is true. Guardrails keep us from doing a lot of times what we want to do. However, many times what we want to do, or we think we want to do, is not truly what we want and won't lead us to the destination we're trying to get to. So the second way to think of guardrails, and is what this entire video really is about, is to think of guardrails as something that's keeping us, enabling us, helping us to reach the destination we're trying to get to. So on a bridge, there are guardrails. Every bridge I'm aware of that I've driven a car across, I've had some kind of guardrail that keeps me from potentially swerving off the side and plummeting into the river below, the canyon below, meeting my demise. So having guardrails greatly influences our capacity to get to the desired destination. To help you see how guardrails are a freedom enabling thing and not a freedom busting thing, consider this little study they did on children. So they took a bunch of children, brought them out for recess, and before they brought them out for recess, they took away the fences that were surrounding the playground. Then they bring these kids out to recess, and they say, go run around, do what you normally do, play, play, play. Amazingly enough, when the fences were taken away, instead of going out and running around with, abandon, the children actually huddled by the doors in fear. Then they put the fences back up, and they allowed the children to come back out for recess again. Guess what the kids did? The kids ran wild. They played on all the playground equipment, played their football, they hopped on the fences, climbed on them, and they experienced freedom because there was some kind of barrier, some kind of guardrail, something that was keeping them in and out of a place of complete uncertainty, and keeping things out that could potentially derail their enjoyment. I hope this little study helps you see and does some kind of convincing as to the importance of having structure and setting up some guardrails in our lives so that in the end, or tomorrow, we are that much closer to the destination of health and vitality and vigor, and overcoming diseases and dysfunction like we so internally desire to be. So what would be some potential guardrails you could make, or I can make? Number one, we gotta find accountability partners. If you don't have an accountability partner, somebody that, at least on a weekly basis is talking to you, encouraging you, telling you to come up higher, come on, then you're doing yourself a great disservice. The second place I would look to create a guardrail would be in your home. I would make your home a haven. That means your home is a safe place. For the majority of us, we can pretty much control what comes into our house, both from a information side, the media, that kind of stuff that comes to our house, if that's negative or positive, the books we read, the stuff we listen to. We can also choose what we put in our refrigerator, in our freezer, in our cupboards. For example, in my house, though I would tend to go to a lot of sugar, I make a point that, and my wife helps me with this, to keep our refrigerators, freezers, cupboards loaded with good food, vegetables, fruit, nuts, seeds, meats. I don't even have to go home. When I go home, I don't have to make a decision. Am I gonna eat candy? Am I gonna eat chips? I'm gonna eat a bunch of processed junk food? Am I gonna drink soda pop? I didn't even need to worry about that decision because I've already set up guardrails to make it so that stuff's not even in my house. I mean, I can't control what's in a grocery store, but I can control what's in my home. So my home is gonna be a haven. My home's gonna be a safe place for me to build health and vitality in myself, in my wife, in my children. So a third guardrail I would consider making is to not eat food in our cars. So we don't eat and drive at the same time. Just like, I would suggest we don't eat and watch TV at the same time either, because both of those activities require a lot of attention and make it so that our body does not really realize that it's intaking nutritional fuel right now because it's driving, and it's also focusing on watching what's ever on the TV. So I would consider making driving a non-negotiable when it comes to eating, and it's also just safer for all of us that are on the highways. And when you're watching TV, make that a non-negotiable. Or say you go to a movie, it's like, we're not gonna eat food when we go to movies, let's go watch a movie. Another guardrail to consider is fast food
restaurants.
So in my life, I don't have to choose whether or not I'm gonna stop at McDonald's or Wendy's or Jack in the Box or Taco Bell or Burger King. I don't have to even think about that. I don't have to decide when I'm hungry and I'm driving down the road and it's another hour to my destination whether or not I'm gonna go get a Big Mac. That's not even part of what would go through my mind, because I've already created a guardrail. I've already long time ago made a decision that fast food is not even part of my life. So what am I gonna do? Well, if I'm really that hungry and I'm just famished, which is very uncommon in an industrialized nation to be that famished because we have food everywhere, but potentially I am, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into a grocery store and I'm gonna find something in that grocery store that is loaded with life. Another guardrail I consider, so this is especially for people that go to work, and maybe people bring stuff to work all the time, food, that kind of thing, donuts, cookies, all kinds of candies. They got candy at the reception office, or maybe like going to church, people bringing donuts and cookies and pastries and all this kind of stuff all the time. Something I did consciously when I was in medical school is I made a decision that I would not eat anything that somebody else brought to the classes. So we sit in these really long lectures there all day, and I decided, I'm only gonna eat what I bring with me. So consider that. That would help out so many people if we would go to work, and before we went into work that day, we said, you know what, I'm only gonna eat the food that I brought for myself, because the food I brought for myself is sufficient. It's sufficient to make it so I can go through the day and have sufficient energy. And then when I get home at night, I'll be able to eat again. Another guardrail to consider is when you go to a grocery store, making a decision ahead of time that you're only gonna go down the aisles or the areas that are pertinent for your health and the store you're trying to create for your health. So for me, I want to be full of energy and vitality. I want to be able to be strong long term. I don't want to have to mess with arthritis and diabetes and heart disease and Alzheimer's, dementia, all these kind of things. I want to greatly decrease as much as possible my risk of cancer. I want to be able to play with my kids and my grandkids, and just be like, man, this guy's got all the energy in the world. He can just go, 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 go. So when I go into a grocery store, which I've been told this multiple times by the cashiers, like, wow, you only spend time in one area, it looks like, based on the groceries I'm getting. Because one, that saves me a ton of time, and two, that's what I want. I want fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and meats. Another guardrail to set up is scheduling. To actually schedule your days or create structure, some kind of scheduling for your weeks, especially for your workouts. So a lot of times, say I want to work out 3 times per week and I have 20 to 40 minutes to make that happen 3 times per week. Now, in order for that to happen, it is imperative that I actually write down the time I'm going to do those workouts. For me, I normally work out around 3:30 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, and then Friday. So usually 3:30 p.m. I'm going to work out each of those days. That's just part of my life. That's like, boom, that's a guardrail that's in my life to make sure I can maintain my fitness and I can basically aspire to have the strength and the stamina I want to have for life. Okay, so there's one more guardrail or idea I would consider to put out there to help you get to the destination you want to get to. I was once at a conference and this speaker was talking about how he was addicted to Krispy Kreme donuts. So he would go by the hot sign every single morning on his way to his office, and it would be on, and just out of pure subconsciousness, he would drive in and he'd pick up a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts and take them to the office with him, sometimes eating a bunch of them on the way to the office. He finally came to the point where he realized a lot of stuff in his health was deteriorating, and he thought that, you know what, I got to figure out a way to overcome this Krispy Kreme donut addiction, because this is destroying my life. He'd gained like 25, 30 pounds, and he just could not get over it. Could not drive past that hot sign. It drew him in every time. So what he did is, instead of taking the same route that he always takes to work, he decided, you know what, I'm just gonna make this easy for myself. I'm not gonna make it so hard where I gotta get to that Krispy Kreme sign, that hot sign, and say no then. I'm gonna make it so when I'm at my house, I get into my car and I take a different route to work, so that I made the decision ahead of time before it's just smashing me in the face with this hot Krispy Kreme donut sign. So he just basically took a different route to work, which is what I would suggest this new guardrail would be, is consider a new route. If there's a particular route you take every day or a particular pattern you have every single day, consider just tweaking it just a little bit. You still get to work on time, but maybe you just need to take a different route so that your decision you made can be protected by this new habit, which is something he actually, this speaker actually mentioned, was that he changed his habit of driving this particular way to work to protect the decision he made to lose 25 pounds and get his health back. So this week, I want to encourage you to consider what habit or what guardrail you can set in place so that you can protect the decision you've already made. I mean, if you're watching this video, you've already made a decision that you want to be crazy healthy. You want to experience the health that you know you're supposed to experience. So think about, okay, what decision, what habit can I make, or what habit can I tweak or change, or guardrail can I set up so that the decision I made to go for outrageous health actually comes to be. I can't wait to hear what guardrail you set up and the impact that had positively on your health story.